Have you ever tried to make everyone happy, only to find yourself completely empty inside? There's an ancient parable about a well that tried to give water to everyone who asked, until one day it had nothing left to give. This is a story about a lesson most of us learn too late. In a small village nestled between two mountains, there lived a young woman named Elara. She was known by everyone as the girl who never says no. Elara worked at the village bakery, but her real work began after her shift ended. Mrs. Chen needed help carrying groceries. Done. The school teacher wanted someone to organize books. Done. Her neighbor's son needed tutoring. Done. Her childhood friend needed money again. Done. Every evening, Elara would collapse into bed exhausted, but somehow proud. She believed this was love. She believed this was what good people did. She thought that being needed meant being valued. Her mother would watch her from the doorway and say, "My dear, you cannot pour from an empty cup." But Elara would just smile and reply, "I'm fine, mother. People need me." Years passed. Elara's life became a never-ending cycle of other people's requests. She stopped painting, something she once loved. No time, she'd tell herself. She stopped visiting the meadow where she used to sit and think. People are waiting, she'd justify. She stopped dreaming about traveling to the city, about opening her own art studio, about finding love. Her friends weren't really friends anymore. They were people who called only when they needed something. Her phone would ring and her heart would sink, knowing it was another favor, another errand, another piece of herself she'd have to give away. One day, Elara's younger cousin Nina came to visit. Nina had just graduated and wanted advice about a job offer in another city. "Should I go? Everyone here wants me to stay." Elara, without thinking, said, "You should do what makes others happy. That's what matters." Nina looked at her, confused. "But Aunt Elara, what about what makes me happy?" The question hung in the air like smoke. Elara opened her mouth to answer, but no words came out, because in that moment, she realized something terrifying. She didn't know what made her happy anymore. She had spent so many years being what others needed that she had forgotten who she was. That night, Elara couldn't sleep. She felt something she had never allowed herself to feel before. Anger. Anger at herself. Anger at how small her life had become. The next morning, something unusual happened. Elara woke up feeling weak. Not tired, weak. Her hands trembled, her legs felt heavy. She tried to get out of bed but collapsed. Her mother rushed her to the village healer, an old man named Thomas, who had lived through many seasons. Thomas examined her and said something that shocked everyone in the room. "You are not physically wrong. You're just empty." "Empty?" Elara whispered. Thomas sat beside her and told her a story. "Long ago," he began, "there was a well in the center of a village. It was the most generous well anyone had ever seen. It gave water to everyone, the farmers, the travelers, the animals, the children. It never refused anyone. People called it the Blessed Well. But one summer, something strange happened. A little girl came to draw water, and nothing came out. The well was dry, completely dry. The villagers panicked. They prayed. They dug deeper, but the well remained empty. An old wanderer passing through the village saw their distress. He looked at the well and said, "This well forgot to save water for itself. It gave and gave until it had nothing left. A well that doesn't refill will eventually run dry, and a dry well is useless to everyone, including itself." Thomas looked directly into Elara's eyes. "You are that well, child. You've given everything to everyone, but you never refilled yourself, and now you have nothing left to give, not even to yourself." Tears streamed down Elara's face. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to cry, really cry. Not the polite, quiet tears she'd shed in private, but deep, soulful sobs that came from a place she had ignored for too long. The next day, something remarkable happened. Mrs. Chen called asking Elara to run errands. Elara took a deep breath and said, "I can't today, Mrs. Chen. I need to rest." There was silence on the other end. Then, surprisingly, Mrs. Chen said, "Of course, dear. Take care of yourself." That afternoon, the school teacher called. "No," Elara said gently. "I'm not available." Her friend called asking for money. "I can't help this time," she said, her voice shaking but firm. Each no felt like peeling off a heavy layer of armor. Each no made her feel lighter. But the real transformation came when Elara started saying yes to herself. Yes to waking up early and painting the sunrise. Yes to walking through the meadow. Yes to sitting in silence and just breathing. Yes to remembering who she was before she became everyone's helper. She started reading again. She started laughing again. She started dreaming again. And something beautiful happened. The people who truly cared about her didn't leave. They respected her boundaries. They loved her more for being authentic. The ones who disappeared, they never really there for her, only for what she could do for them. Here's the truth that Thomas taught Elara, and the truth that the empty well reveals to us all. You cannot give what you do not have. Being kind doesn't mean being available to everyone. Being loving doesn't mean sacrificing yourself completely. Being good doesn't mean saying yes to every request. There's a difference between generosity and self-abandonment. One fills the world with light, the other drains you of it. The people who truly love you will never ask you to empty yourself for them. They will want you full, alive, and whole, because that's when you shine the brightest. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. They decide what gets to come in and what needs to stay out, and that's not selfish, that's wisdom. Remember, even the sun sets, even the ocean has tides that pull back, even the earth rests in winter. Rest is not laziness, refilling is not selfishness, saying no is not cruelty, it's survival. So let me ask you something. Are you living your life, or are you living everyone else's version of your life? Are you so busy being what others need that you've forgotten what you need? If you feel exhausted, resentful, or lost, maybe you're like Elara. Maybe you're like the empty well. You've been giving and giving, waiting for someone to fill you back up. But here's what you need to understand. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. Start saying no. Start protecting your energy. Start choosing yourself, not once in a while, but daily. Because the world doesn't need another exhausted, empty person trying to help. The world needs you alive, vibrant, full. Be the well that knows when to close its gates and let the rain refill it, because only then can you give from a place of abundance, not depletion. Your life is not a resource for others to drain. It's a gift. Treat it like one. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever felt like the empty well? And subscribe for more powerful life lessons that will change the way you see the world. Your transformation starts now.